So over the years inside of my profession, I studied many things. I studied manual massage, manipulation, soft tissue manipulation, methods of doing that. I studied osteopathy. I studied applied kinesiology, which is a method of utilising chiropractic techniques with acupuncture, meridian therapy, putting those together. But also, right through my life, I've studied martial arts. 15 years from the age of 20 is karate. I understand the physics of motion and the power and where it comes from and techniques. And then the rest of my life studying under a man called Dr. Masaaki Hatsumi. And he taught an ancient Budo, which is a warrior type method that as a heritage had been handed down, and he was the 34th in line generation grandmaster. He mentored me over a long period of time and taught me many of the techniques of self-help and the way the body moves with this unique method of movement that he has behind his weapons. So one of the things that Hatsumi showed us was from an ancient school called Hichibuko goshin jutsu, which was a school of self-maintenance. It was defence of the self rather than self-defence. And these methods were taught to him by his master, and it was basically the do-it-yourself of ninjutsu. So you had to understand the nutrition, you had to understand the body, you had to understand acupuncture points, so that you could actually self-help. And so a lot of this comes from that school. And that was also part of the other things he taught us. Was the medicine part of that school was called Takamatsu, which I've practiced since 1995 and taught to many people the successful treatment of. So the ancient ninja, to a lot of people who don't fully know, they've seen it exploited in modern Hollywood movies. But basically, Japan was a closed shop for 400 years, ruled by warlords, and some of the peasants were treated very badly. They'd just come and take all the rice and food and take their kids away and things like that. So eventually they had to rebel and revolt against very highly trained swordsmen called samurai. And so they had to be sort of espionage agents and infiltrate and work in silent ways. So they learned how to turn farm tools into weapons. They learned how to work covertly. And so many of the things they would have to do, moving across the terrain that they had to move across, they had to understand how to fix themselves. You can't go over a 3,000-foot mountain and sprain your ankle and not be any good. You need to understand that different diets might make you ill. You've got to understand the antidotes. So you'd understand the herbs of the region, the teas of the region, different points on your body, different mind control. Inside of ninja there was also lots of mental controls. So they learned a big part of it was mindfulness and movement. And so all these natural principles were part of the ninja's repertoire. And we were taught that through our school system, and I've applied all of those to myself, and they're just very effective. Most effective form of self-maintenance I've come across. And at 70 I choose to do the best, and I want to show you now the best and the simplest. The only difference between me doing a technique and you is the degree of skill that I have precisely, but generically where I'm going to show you how to press and where to press, you'll start to get incredible results with this self-help system. So even as far back as 5,000 years ago, they found a person that had been frozen in the Alps, and on his body he had marks tattooed on his feet. And later on they investigated and did MRI studies on him and found he had arthritis in the spine and things like that. So they went to an acupuncturist and asked if those points had any relevance, and they're actually the points that you would use for that kind of condition all those years ago. So they'd been tattooed on him either to know where to press himself, or for another acupuncturist in the next town to be able to insert a needle or a stone. And there's many ways to do pressure. Manual pressure is being done for all of our lives instinctively. If you hurt your leg, you come in, the first thing your mother does is rubs your leg. Now, what we don't know is, on the skin surface are thousands and thousands of tiny receptors telling the brain we're hurting, and they're called nociceptors. And when we rub the leg, the pressure actually switches them off. And that's why it works. Instinctively, you rub something when it hurts. So massage is as old as our instinct to rub. And then you can look at various tools. This is just a piece of stone, but this particular stone is basalt. So if you heat it up, it'll hold that heat properly for a long time. So now I can use massage and heat as an application, which again is another benefit. And so by holding a stone or other things, even a wooden spoon if you haven't got a stone, or you can use other tools. Here's one, thanks. That's just a piece of wood that's been nicely shaped, pointy at one end, very blunt at the other. to be able to just work things out. Now I'm going to show you how to methodically work muscles with a particular movement called taijutsu. And taijutsu is the way of moving naturally that the ninja would have used behind weapons. It's very ambidextrous, it's very flowy, but it's got one key concept, and that's called tension coupling. Now tension coupling seems to imply that we're going to be tense. What it means is that the body's all joined up in every action. So we're not using our arm for an action. The power from that is coming from the spine but through the body in what we call long arcs, which I'll describe later. So basically I'm going to show you how to work and use a massaging technique to your muscles using this tension coupling. Now tension coupling simply means the body's joined up. So if I was going to massage there into my calf muscle, I can use a free hand and massage. It's sort of effective. If you place your hand on the knee and you place your other elbow on the opposite side, your body becomes more stable and just inside of itself starts to connect up. And that's the start or the initiation of this tension coupling. Then the other key is we want to use our hands as least as possible in the techniques, because if you use your body in a tension coupling way, you won't damage your hands or tire them out.
Because 体術トレーニングそういうことだった。で、ボディ、no finger,
Body.
body,
Body.
Spine.
Body.
And the key to that is basically rocking after we feel this connection of different body parts that we're all joined up, and then we move the part that we want to massage. So that's the basic concept of the system we're going to use.